Hello everyone and welcome to my next Silver Swans ballet class. Today's class, I can see here, it's one of many from in the virtual village hall. So today's session is suitable for absolute beginners. So it doesn't matter if you've never stepped foot in a ballet class before. I'm explaining everything from the start. If you have danced before, then I teach a lot of Silver Swans who danced when they were younger, or ex-professional dancers and things, and they really enjoy just refreshing over the basics. So I will give a few different options today as well for if there's something that you might want to try a slightly more tricky, that more challenging version of a step or a dance. So today's class it's just a normal Silver Swans class. So we start off with our warm-ups. Then we do a little bit of bar work. So for the bar, you'll need something sturdy that won't wobble over, something like a dining room chair like I use. And also make sure you've got some water with you. Do take a break whenever you need to. Take the class at your own pace. Obviously, I will put in breaks in, but if you want to take a break anytime, then you can do. And of course, you can always pause the video and catch up when you've had your break. Okay, then when we've done our bar work, we come into the centre and do a little bit of centre work. And then I always like to theme my sessions around the ballet. We've done all sorts. We've done Swan Lake, we've done Don Quixote, everything. And today we're going to be doing the ballet of Raymonda. It's a beautiful ballet, one that isn't done as often, although English National Ballet are actually doing it early next year, I think. So you'll probably be hearing a lot more about the Ballet Raymonda. So hopefully this will give you a little taster of the Ballet Raymonda. Gorgeous music, absolutely stunning. But first, we'll get started with our warm-ups and our bar work. If you can please check that there's no obstacles around you, make sure there's nothing you're going to trip over, make sure your flooring's suitable, and we'll get started. It's always great if you can add in the comments as well, whereabouts you're joining in from. Have you danced before? I can already see a few people adding comments. Hello to everyone who's commenting already. It's always lovely to hear where you're joining in from. And have you danced before? Is this your first time in a ballet class? Let's get started. So the first exercise is just a warm-up. Just set my camera up right. First exercise, just a warm-up, just to really get us moving. I'm going to tip my camera down a bit more. It's really difficult to get it set up just right before the class. So just following along for this warm-up, just to get us moving. So we're going to start off by walking around the room. If you haven't got enough space to walk around the room, then you can just walk on the spot. Let's get going. Okay, so walking around. Like I said, if you haven't got enough space to walk around in your room, you can just walk on the spot if you want. Okay, now taking your hands slowly up and bring them down. And slowly up. And bring them down. And slowly up. And down. And now coming into the middle. Feet together, hands in front. And we're just going to bend and stretch. Nice big bend and stretches. And taking both hands behind you. And into the middle, both hands behind you. And into the middle, now swaying to the side. Nice big bend and stretch. Really using your arms and your knees. Bend and stretch. And bend and stretch. Bend and stretch. One more sway. Feet together, breathing in. And breathing out. Okay, good. So that's your first warm-up done. We're going to do our second warm-up now, which for those of you who've joined me before in the virtual village hall, our second warm-up, as you know, is always done in our ballet bar. So if you want to grab your chair or whatever you're using for your bar, just make sure it's something sturdy. You want it to be about the same height as your waist. So, I just get set up in the correct place. There we go. So you can see me. So I'll just start off by explaining a little bit about our posture at the bar. Posture is so important to dancers, and it's something that can really help anybody who does ballet. So that's why ballet is so important, from young children all the way through to Silver Swans. It really helps your posture. So we can really make sure that we're helping our balance and our posture, even just by standing correctly at the bar. We work out how we're standing at the bar. If we're too close, then your elbows will be bent. If you're too far away, your elbows will be straight. We want them to just have just a nice relaxed feel, just a nice gentle curve. And that way you can then relax your shoulders and really feel as though you're lifting upwards. Okay, so there's lots of different pieces of imagery. Those of you who've joined in my sessions before will know I love using imagery in my teaching. You can imagine that you've got a piece of string that is pulling up from the middle of your head and it's lifting you upwards. Or my particular favourite is the helium balloon that is floating upwards. Your head is the helium balloon, but your feet are the weight and it's staying very grounded. So you've got this lift going upwards. And all the way throughout the class, I'll try and keep reminding you about your posture. It's basically about building up an awareness around it. So feet together, and this applies all the way through the class. So keeping your shoulders relaxed. This second warm-up is specifically for your feet. So we're going to start off by taking your foot to the demi point. So that's just a nice crease in your shoe. Demi means half, so it's half a pointed foot. Then we're going to a point, demi point, and down. Same with the other leg, demi point, to a point, demi point and down. Same with the other leg, demi point, to a point, demi point and down. Same again, to a point, demi point and down. Then we're going to point and flex. So I'm pointing my foot in front, flexing, pointing, and closing. Same again, pointing. When you flex, really try and push your heel away from you. Pointing and closing, pointing, flexing, pointing, closing. One more. Pointing, flexing, pointing, closing. Okay, so we're going to do our second warm-up now, which is all for your feet. And demi point, to a point, demi point, and down other leg, demi point, to a point, demi point, and down, demi point, to a point, demi point. Really relax your toes, don't scrunch them, to a point. Now pointing and flexing, pointing and flexing, pointing and closing in, pointing and flexing, pointing and closing, really pushing your heel away from you, and close, one more, and flex, and point, and close. Okay, so that is your first exercise, your first kind of exercise at the bar, but now we go on to the real exercises at the bar. Your first one is going to be your pliés. So feet in first position facing your ballet bar. Now, feet in first is, if you stand with your feet together, we're going to turn our toes away from each other, but your heels are going to remain in contact with each other. Now, your turnout comes from your hips, and it's the whole of your leg that's rotated outwards, and it should feel nice and comfy. We're not overturning out our feet. We want almost like a right angle if you look down at your feet, the angle of them, okay? So just keeping it, you've still got your posture, legs nice and turned out. So that's first position. If you keep your feet turned out and just put a little space between your feet, that's second position. Now in second, just make sure that your feet are still matching. You haven't got one foot more turned out than the other. And check that your weight is in the middle. We don't want to have our weight on one leg more than the other. And that's really important for this next exercise we're going to do. Then we're going to move into feet in third position. Now third, if you put your feet back into first, and just bring one foot in front so your heel is in contact with the middle of your foot. And that's third. Now third can be taken with either foot in front. So you can have your third with your right foot in front, or you can stand in third with your left foot in front, but it's always the heel of your front foot in contact with the middle of your back foot. And we're going to use those three positions in our plie exercise. Plie means to bend. I'll just turn to face the camera so you can see what I'm doing. So feet in first position. As I take a bend, my knees are going over my toes. My heels are staying in contact with the floor. And then I'm stretching. And that is a demi-plie. So it basically just means to bend. So facing your bar, feet in first position. Check that you're the correct distance away from your bar. Feet in first, turn out from your hips. We're going to take 2 demi-pliés in first position. Bending, still keeping a nice straight back. Be careful your back isn't leaning forwards. Bending and stretching. I'm going to point my foot to the side, it doesn't matter which foot. And then I'm going to lower down my foot in second. So just check that your feet are matching, weights in the middle. We're going to take our pliés in second. Bending and stretching, knees going out to the sides. Bending, keeping your back nice and straight. Stretching, pointing your foot. Then bring your foot in front so it's in the middle. So you're in third. Demi-plié and stretch. Demi-plié and stretch. We're going to go to third with the other foot, so pointing your foot to the side and swapping it to the back. Same in third, demi-plié and stretch. Demi-plié and stretch, and to finish off we'll just close back into first position. Okay, so first position, second position, third position and third position. 2 demi-pliés in each position. Okay, let's give it a go with music. Keep thinking of your posture, we've still got that helium balloon. Relaxing your shoulders and demi-plié. Knees out to the sides, plié and stretch. And now we'll go to second position, lowering in second. Same in second, bending and stretching, bending and stretching, pointing and closing in front. Same in third, bending and stretch, bend and stretch, swapping over so you've got your other foot in front. Still thinking about your posture. Demi-plié and stretch. Demi-plié and stretch, and closing back into first position. And we'll finish off there. Okay, so for our next exercise, we're going to do battement tendus. Tendus, just pointing and closing our feet. And it's also going to have a position in it, a movement called a retire. Retire means to draw up, and it's going to become, the reason why I'm putting it into your tendus is because we're going to use it again later on to build into another step that appears in our dance. So, feet in first, facing your bar. At battement tendu, we're just pointing and closing our foot. So, if you point your foot in front, keeping your leg nice and straight, and close it into first. Now we're wanting to point it directly in front of your hip and shoulder. Okay, so point and close and point and close. Now the leg that's just been pointing, I'll just turn to face the camera. We're going to do a retire. So your leg, it's going to peel up and my knee is pointing out to side and it's going to lift up, go back down, slide out and go back to first position. You can see now why it means to draw up. Now the height that that leg goes to is entirely set by you. You could just take it to your ankle. You could take it to the base of your calf. But we really want to try and make sure that that leg is turning out sideways. Not at the expense of our hips moving. Hips stay nice and still. It's just the rotation in your legs. Rotation comes from your hips. That's what we were talking about at the beginning with the positions of the feet. Okay, so let's have a go with the other leg now. Pointing and closing, pointing and closing, drawing up, knee out to the side and lowering back down. We'll repeat exactly the same now, going to our à la seconde, so to second position. Pointing to the side, we think about our big toes being opposite each other in second, and closing, and pointing and closing. A little bit easier in second actually, I think, going into retire. You're already thinking very turned out. And then to second, point and close and point and close and drawing up and lowering back down. So it's just basically drawing up the side of your leg and sliding back down into first position. Let's give it a go with music. Okay, pointing, point and close and point and close, sliding your leg up and lowering down. Other foot, slide it out and slide it in and out, and in and roll it up, and down to the side. Point, and close, and point, keeping your legs nice and straight. Now you can bend your leg, and down, other leg, point, and close, and point, and close, drawing up, and we'll finish off. Okay, so like I said, that retire position is going to come later on in the class as well. Our next exercise is rond de jambe à terre, which sounds like a very scary title. That rond meaning round, your jambe is your leg, à terre on the ground, and we can take rond de jambe à terre going en dehors, going outwards, or en dedans, coming inwards. We're just going to take them en dehors today, which is going outwards. Okay, so feet in first, facing your bar. Just taking a moment to think about your posture. We're going to point our foot to the front, and then we're going to circle it round to that à la seconde position that we were in. But we're going to keep circling it round to the back and then close it into first. So if you imagine you had a pen in the tip of your big toe, you would have just drawn a capital letter D shape on the floor, D for Delta. Okay, so it's going round and closing in. So we're going to the front, to the side, to the back, and closing into first. Have a go with your other leg as well. So we're keeping our legs nice and straight, and the best way to get a really nice movement for the rond de jambe is to lift, because it really frees up the movements in your hip sockets. To the front, to the side, to the back. Okay, so we're going to take 2 rond de jambes with our right leg, then a little port de bras, which I'll come to in a minute, 2 rond de jambes with your left leg, then another port de bras. So let's have a go from the beginning, and then I'll explain a little bit about the port de bras that comes. So we're pointing our foot to the front, to the side, to the back, into first position. Same again, to the front, to the side, to the back, into first. Now the leg that's just been doing the rond de jambe, that same arm that you're going to use, we're going to drop it down, circling it outwards, and we're going to curve our hand up above our head, basically to 5th position. If it was both hands, we will call it 5th. It's still 5th even with one hand, but we're just doing one hand today. We're going to turn our head to the side, so away from our arm, lifting up, and we're going to take just a little bend over sideways. Now that bend comes from your waist. Just be careful it's not your hips pulling out. Hips stay still. The bend comes from your waist. It's like having a little peer over. Should feel a nice gentle stretch there, and opening out. And then we put our hand back onto our bar again. Then we repeat the rond de jambes again, to the front, to the side, to the back into first, to the front, to the side, to the back into first, dropping your hand down, circling it outwards, big circle, shoulder down in 5th position, turn your head away from your arm, a little bend over from your waist, and recovering back up again, opening that hand back out again, and down. That turn of your head is really important in a port de bras, because what it means then is that the more dominant muscles in your neck are supporting that position. Okay, so hand goes to 5th, then your head turns, and then you have that little bend over. You don't even have to put that bend over if you don't want to. You can just keep everything nice and tall and just hold that position for a moment if you'd feel more secure doing it that way. Okay, let's give this a go with music. Okay, so feet in first, lifting up tall, shoulders down. Okay, going to the front, circling to the side, to the back, keep lifting up, to the front, to the side, to the back, closing in, dropping your hand down, and up, turning your head, a little bend, and coming back up again. Let's go with the other leg, and to the front, side, back, keeping your legs nice and straight, keep lifting, to the front, side, back into first, now into that sideways port de bras, hand goes to 5th, turning your head, over you go, just a little on to our final exercise at the bar now, which is our grand battements. I always love grand battements. For this one, we're going to turn our chair sideways. Now, again, for your posture, we want to place ourselves so it's not going to affect our balance. So if you're using a chair like me, pop yourself up the back edge of the chair and place your hand into the middle of it. So your hand is in front of you. Even standing with your hand straight to the side, that's already starting to pull round the shoulder. So we stand behind and bring your hand in front. The other hand is going onto your hip, elbow pointing to the side as well, because otherwise, again, it's going to affect your posture. So shoulders down, making sure everything's nice and lifted. So a grand battement. If we just go back to our battement tendu where we're pointing our foot in front, nice straight legs, we're going to lift up that leg and pointing and closing. It's not a huge lift, it's obviously set by you. So pointing, keeping that leg nice and straight, pointing and closing. So we're going to start off with 2 preparations, which is what we've just done. Pointing, lifting, pointing and closing. Same again, and lift and point and close. Then we're going to connect together the first 2 movements, and it's going to go swish, point, close. We'll take a demi-plie and stretch. Then we'll repeat with the other leg. So we started with our outside leg, our leg furthest away from the bar. Now we're going to use our inside leg. Pointing, lifting, pointing, closing, pointing, lifting, pointing, closing, grand battement, swish, point, close, a little bend, and stretch. Let's go with music. And point, and lift, and point, and close, keep lifting, and point, into a swish, swish, and point, and close, demi-plie, other leg, point, and lift, and point, and close, same again. And now a grand battement, swish, and demi-plie. Okay, good. So that finishes off our bar work. So if you want to mind your ballet bars out of the way, and then we'll get started in the centre. Have a drink of water as well. Let me just move my chair so it's not going to block the camera. I'll just lift it over here. Right. Okay. Okay. Great, it's lovely to see everyone's comments. So, yes, by all means, just while you're grabbing your drink of water, let me know whereabouts you're joining in from today. And have you done ballet before? So I did say at the start of the session, I'll just re-explain just in case anybody joined us a little bit later. Today's session is based around ballet Raymonda, which is what we're going to be going on to now. So, our first exercise in the centre is our port de bras. Now, I did use the word port de bras at the bar, and it was when we did a movement with our arm. And that is what a port de bras is. Port de means carriage of, and your bras is your arm. So it's all about your movements of your arms. So I'll just begin by explaining a little bit about the arm positions, and then we're going to put together a lovely little port de bras based on the music, to some music from Raymonda. And I've actually used an actual piece from an orchestral piece of recording for this. So I really hope you enjoy it. It's the most gorgeous piece from Raymonda. It's one of my favourites. So I'll just have another quick drink and then we'll get started. Okay. So if we just come into the middle and standing with your feet in first position, and if you round your arms, we call this bra bar. I'll just come up to the camera, then you can see a bit closer. So bra bar is an oval shape. So my hands aren't actually touching me. They're just a tiny little bit in front. You can just see there. And my elbows are pointing to the side. So there is this gap here. There is lots of space. And we call this barre, which translates as arms low, so low arms. So hands in barre. Now keeping that same shape, lift your arms up so that they're opposite your waist. So I'm just lifting it up. And that's first position. Now if I keep going all the way up to the top, that's the position that we came across at the bar, fifth position. Okay? Now, excuse me. If you take your arms to first position and then open your arms out sideways, that's second position. And those are the main positions that we're going to use today. Barre, first position, second position, and fifth position. Now for second position, just keep your arms curved in front of you. Be careful your hands don't go behind you. They're not even in a straight line. They have got this curve round in front. I'll just lean forward so you can see how my arms are curved there. Okay? So a nice curved shape. Now we can mix together some of those shapes to create other positions. So if you take one arm in first and one arm in second, that's third position. And you can have third position with either arm in front. Now we're not going to use third in our port de bras, but we are going to use it in our dance. So our port de bras is going to take like a zigzag shape across the room. I'm going to start up in the upper corner. I'm going to zig across this side and zag down to this corner. I always teach as a mirror image. So just whichever side of the room I go to, if you're at the same side of the room as me, that's absolutely fine. But don't get too worried about the directions. I know sometimes it can be a little trickier to follow along, especially if it's your first session. So I'm going to start up in the upper corner. So we would describe this actually as your upstage left corner. So if you stand in the middle, your left arm is up in the left corner here. That's where we're going to begin. Feet in first position and hands in barre. We're going to take one arm on a journey up through first, through fifth, to second and back down to barre. So I'm going to take one hand first, up to fifth, and you can watch that arm. It's a beautiful piece of music, so make sure your arms, it feels very beautiful to dance. Then the other hand, one, to the top, opening out and down. Now from here, my arms are going to go to first, and then they're going to go to a new position. I'll just come into the center to explain this, called arabesque. Arabesque is one hand straight in front of you that's opposite the height of the bridge of your nose, and another hand that's at the side, and it slopes downwards. Okay, so that's your arabesque. Shoulders nice and relaxed, soft elbows, chin lifted, so you're looking, it's like you're reaching outwards. And that's the position that your arms are going to. So from first, because we're going to the right, we'll use our right hand in front. And it's like we're reaching out and we're going to take some little steps. And then we'll lower into first, hands into barre. And we'll repeat it again. Arm first, to fifth, opening out and down. Other hand first, to fifth, opening out and down. Arms to first, to arabesque with your left hand in front, and it's like it's leading you over here. Just some little steps. And we'll finish with our feet in first and take our hands down to barre to finish off. So it's a really beautiful piece of music there. It's one of my favorites. Okay, so let's give it a go with music. Okay, so one hand taking your arm to first, to fifth, opening out and down. The other hand, one, to the top, opening out. And first out to arabesque, and little steps, and lowering down. Other hand, arm first, one, to fifth, opening out. The other hand, to fifth, and down, arms first to arabesque, and little steps, and we'll finish off. Okay, I think we should have another dance of that because it's just so beautiful. Let me just have a quick drink of water just before we do. Okay, let's have another go. Okay, feet in first. It's so beautiful. So right hand and first to the top, opening up, really watching that hand. The other hand all the way up to the top, circling outwards. And arms first to arabesque. And little steps. And lowering down. And arm first to fifth. Opening out. The other hand first to fifth. Opening out. Taking your arms to arabesque. Arms first. Arabesque. Steps. Like it's leading you. And lowering down. Okay. So beautiful. We're going to go on to our repertoire now. And this repertoire is from the Ballet of Raymonde. Now, Raymonde is one of the great Russian ballets. Choreography of Petipa. I think it was one of his final works, actually. And it was from the great golden age of all the ballets that were being produced at the time. It's a story where the lead character, she is in love with this gentleman, and meanwhile another there is another love interest, but she's not interested in him. Anyway, she falls asleep and she has this vision of the white lady who tells her basically to be careful of this other gentleman. And when she wakes up, actually he declares her love for her. Anyway, it all gets sorted in the end. Well, the two men do have a battle. One of them, I won't spoil it for you, but in the end, anyway, there is a beautiful third act where it is the marriage of two of the characters. So it's a very grand ballet. It's set in medieval Europe. The third act is the one that gets performed most regularly in the UK. Just as a little short act just on its own. I know I've seen the Royal Ballet perform it as part of their triple bills. It's very grand, lots of national dancing in it as well. But like I said, English National Ballet are bringing it back as a full production early next year, I think it is. So this is a really nice solo. It's just known as the pizzicato, which is plucked on the strings. It's just a really happy solo. The dancer has on a beautiful pink tutu. So I will just explain to you a step called a pas de chat to begin with, because that is what we're going to use in this dance. Now, pas de chat, we are doing a slightly modified version, just to keep it safe. So I'll explain it first of all with your feet in first. And if you place your hands in a position called demi-second. Now, demi-second, it's like you've got your hands on the edge of your tutu. Okay, so it's just at the edge of your frills here. Really helps with your balance, actually, that position. But if you want to, while you're learning it, you can put your hands onto your hips. If you remember that retire position that we had at the bar, the rule is that if we're traveling to the right, we're going to use our right foot first. If we're traveling to the left, we're going to go with our left leg first. And I think touch, touch, down. Touch, touch, down. Those are the three words that I think of. Now, a pas de chat, it actually means step of the cat. And it was meant to be inspired by the way how a cat jumps and lands. So imagine you're stepping over something. So as I'm going to the right, I'm going to lift up my right leg. So I've touched my leg. I'm going to step onto my other leg, touch, and down. Okay, now you're probably at this moment thinking, why is she getting us to balance in the centre? Don't worry, it's done a little bit faster than that. It will be done easier. We'll touch, touch, down. Touch, touch, down. And have a go going the other way. So your left leg leads. Touch, touch, down. Touch, touch, down. Don't worry, it's not done slow. So hands in demi-second. Of course, as well, if you do always want to, you can always hold on to something if you want a little bit extra support while you're doing anything in the centre. So we're going to begin in the corner where we started our port de bras, and hands in demi-second. Now, technically, a pas de chat does start in third position. So if you have danced before, you can do this from third. Just remember it's your back foot that leads and it stays at the back. But if not, I'll be demonstrating it from first, so we can just take it from first. Hands in demi-second. There's no introduction on this piece of music, so you have to really be careful. Let's just have a listen to it first of all, and you'll see how it comes straight in. So you can hear the pizzicato on the strings. It's a really lovely solo, okay? So let's get started. So hands in demi-second, and we're going to start off using your right foot first for a pas de chat. Touch and down, feet into first. We're going to take a full port de bras all the way up to the top, just like we did in our port de bras, and lowering back down. Then we repeat our pas de chat again. Touch and down, but this time I'm going to continue. You know how we did our zigzag pattern? I'm going to do a zig, and I'm going to take a few little steps and finish with my feet in first and prepare my arms to first and out to third position there. Now you can stop with your feet in first or in third if you want to. If you are going to be in third, try and stop with your left leg in front, and then you will be ready to go. Okay, so we've done a pas de chat, a port de bras, another pas de chat, and then we've done those little steps to prepare our arms. So touch and down and away, port de bras, all the way, opening and down, and touch and down. Then we've got those little steps. And don't forget as well, always whichever side of the room I'm at, if you're at the same side of the room, because I teach the mirror image, you'll be fine. We're now going to take a step to the side. We're going to travel across the front of the stage. I'm taking a step sideways, and I'm going to close into first or third, depending on which position you're working from. Same again, step and close. My arm that's in third is going to lift all the way up, and that's actually made fourth position there. So that's one arm in fifth, one arm in second. It's going to open out. I'm going to walk round, take some little steps to finish whereabouts I started the dance. So I've gone down the diagonal, I've travelled sideways across the front of the stage, and I've gone round to come back to the beginning again. Let's have a go at that with music. So feet in first, hands in demi-second. Be ready for it to come straight in. And touch, lower, port de bras, and down, touch, down, little steps, arms to third, stepping, and closing, stepping, and closing, lifting your hand up, and little steps, going round to the beginning. Okay, so this next bit is quite a nice, it's a little bit cheeky actually. I'll give you a few different options, whichever version you want to take, because these are now called spring points. So if you just stand with your feet in first and point one foot in front and let the other leg bend behind you. And then we're going to swap over and point the other foot in front. And point. And point. Now having your hands in front of you is really important for keeping your balance in a spring point. And keeping your weight forward. If you've just found that you've wobbled backwards as you've done that, it's because your weight is too far back. Keep your weight in front. And point. And point. Now you can either take these spring points nice and slow. So you'll go point. And 2. And you'll fit in 6 spring points. And 4. They can travel slightly forwards on this. 3. And 4. Sorry, and 6. So that's option 1 if you want to take that. If maybe you've done spring points before, if you're returning back to a ballet class, we can take a little bit faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and hold. 1 and 2 and 3 and hold. 1 and 2 and 3 and hold. And if you really want to be fancy, then you can do 3 and a pas de cheval. 1 and 2 and 3. So a pas de cheval, you're going to do a little circle, step of the horse, so it's like a horse pawing the ground, does a little circle. 1 and 2 and 3, pas de cheval. 1 and 2 and 3, pas de cheval. So if you're doing slow spring points, you should fit in 6 of them. If you're doing them quicker, it's 3 lots of 3. And if you're doing them with a pas de cheval, it's 3 and 1 pas de cheval repeated 3 times. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to demonstrate it as 3 and a hold. Okay? So we've come round to the corner and we've got our feet in first. So I'm going 1 and 2. Keep your weight forwards. 3 and hold. Hands at the edge of your tutu. 2 and 3 and hold. 1 and 2 and 3 and hold. Let's add that on from the beginning now. We're not far off the end actually there. So from the very beginning, feet in first. And touch, touch, down, port de bras, opening out, and 1. Little steps, prepare your arms to third, so that's 1 in front and 1 at the side. Stepping, and closing, and stepping, and closing, taking your hand up, and little steps. Now we're into our spring points. It's up to you which version you want to do. 1, 2, 3, and hold. 1, 2, 3, and hold. 1, 2, 3, and hold. Okay, we're going to walk round now, just like we did on the other side, but to finish at the opposite corner. So this is your right side you're going to go to. So I'm going round, and I'm finishing in my right corner. And we're going to repeat the opening again, but just on the other side. So remember, if you're traveling this way, we're traveling over to the left, then it's your left leg that's going to lead now. So touch and down and hold port de bras all the way up to the top and down. Now, we're going to put in a little bit from our port de bras. So arms first, out to arabesque, and we should have our left hand in front because we're then going to take some little steps leading us down to the left corner. And it has a lovely little ending where we're going to point our right foot in front, and you can leave your hands in arabesque, or if you want to, you can just lift your hands up to a nice diagonal line for your ending position. Okay, so I'll just go over from this corner again one more time. So I've done my spring points, and now I've walked round to this corner. 1 and 2 and down and hold and port de bras, just like we did on the other side. And down, then I'm taking my arms to arabesque. So that's 1 hand in front at one side. It leads me to the corner. Feet in first, pointing your foot and lift. Okay, so let's have a go from the very beginning all the way through to the end for our solo from Raymonda. Okay. Oh, sorry, that's the port de bras music again. Okay. Oh, missed my introduction there. Let's go again. And 2, down and port de bras, and lowering down. Same again. Little steps, arms to third, stepping and closing, and stepping, and closing, lifting this hand up that's in front, lifting, little steps. Now we're into our spring points, and point, 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 and chat and port de bras. Arms first to arabesque, leading you to the corner and finish. Okay, I hope you really enjoyed learning that dance. It's such a beautiful piece of music. We're going to finish it off now with our cool down and curtsy or bow. So, starting off, I'll just explain about the curtsy or bow section first of all. If you begin with your feet in first position, ladies' hands in demi second, and we're going to put our foot at the back onto the ball of your foot. Now, if you find that's a bit of an unstable position, then you can always do this with your foot flat at the back in third, and you can just take a little bend and feet back into first, and then same with the other foot, a little bend and feet back in to first. If we have got any gentlemen joining us today, then you will take a bow at this moment. So just following along with the cool down, and then I'll just slot the curtsy in there, and then we continue with the rest of the cool down. So feet together to begin, really focusing on your breathing. Okay, breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Feet into first. Into a curtsy or bow. And curtsy or bow. And now walking around your room just like we did at the beginning. Really focusing on your breathing. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Well done, everybody. Oh, good. I really hope you've enjoyed this session. I'm back in the virtual village hall next month. I can't remember the date off the top of my head, but I do hope that you can join me next month. Bye, everyone.